If it's first, game breaks, no games, you know that us put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the game, tackle, this win it. First shooting game, we're here for the first man. Carry a lot of people every 60 minutes.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
The culture that Hype and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standard is to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
Just go win them all, man. I say that. Our team goal in general just win the East. So we're focused on that. But, we're taking it week by week, one opponent at a time, and just being the best each week, each Saturday, being the best team on the field.
We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama. Don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee.
If you in this locker room, you try to say it with your heart.
A one, two, three. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee.
Do you remember when we fell in love? I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air now. I can feel it. I can feel it anytime. I can feel it. It's coming in the air now. Oh, no. We fell in love. You remember the time. How could I ever forget? You remember the time. Oh, no. We fell in love. You remember the time. How could I ever forget? Coming in the air now.
Good Sunday evening and welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley.
And I'm Coach Jay.
Man, I'm fired up. It's I don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. I don't know if you do. I don't. It's beat Bama week, man. It's Buck Fama week. It's so hard because I've started my research on Alabama. I'm ready to talk about Alabama. There are some things that I like about this matchup with Alabama, but we got a job to do. We got to talk a little bit more about this Texas A&M game. Got a big week, boys and girls. Just breaking news as of about an hour ago. On threes, J.D. Piquel's going to be in the house. I sent up a tweet, man. Sometimes you just got to put up the bat signal. And I said, hey, J.D., I will forgive you for picking Texas A&M to beat Tennessee if you'll come hang out with the most diehard, passionate Tennessee fan base in the country right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. He said, I'm in. I said, so Talkin VAWLS is going to be a program. How you feel about that?
I feel awesome about that, man. I love Pikel's work, and it'd be nice to see him in here. We can all give him a hard time a little bit and make sure he picks correctly this coming Saturday. I'll tell you, it was hard. It was hard not to throw on the Buck Fama shirt for this call-in show tonight, Boogie. I wanted to put it on, but then I was like, oh man. But then I'm gonna look weird because I'm gonna want to wear it every day of this week, and then it's gonna start smelling bad, and Miss J will look at me sideways. So
You
I
said
gotta,
one of
gotta
every color. One of every color.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now we're thinking. Yeah, there you go. No, but hey, I'm super excited. We got to put this one to bed today. I think we're all happy. We're celebrating. We got a smile on our face. We maybe expect to jump up a couple spots in the poll. Although, hey, we got a lot of work in front of us. We still got to go to Kentucky, even though we're their daddy. We still got Georgia. We still got Bama. We got a Missouri team that's playing pretty good football right now. So we got a long road to hoe, as they say. So time to get to work.
So many things to be excited about. Look, we're going to put it to bed tonight. Actually, we're not, because we're going to talk about Texas A&M in the morning with Kaner. And then after the Monday morning show, we kind of slowly start to put it to bed. Wednesday, we'll focus more on Alabama. But let's run down the chat. It is a fan call-in show. The link's going to go out here in just a second to Talkin VAWLS Elite and Higher. You want to be a part of that, you got to be a member of the channel. Hit the join button down below. If you join at Elite or Higher, you get the link immediately. Every fan call-in show, Talkin VAWLS Elite and Higher, that link goes out. We're going to try to get down to at least Talkin VAWLS Gold tonight. I would love to get down to Faithful. I would love to get down to that level, get more people on here. We'll see how the night plays out. Let's see who's in the chat. Daniel Campbell says, hi, Boogie and Coach Jay. This was at 5:30. How did Daniel know that X wasn't coming on tonight? Because I didn't know until about 6:57. That's when I found out that X wasn't coming on.
I don't know.
I couldn't remember. I knew he had a wedding, and I was like, are you back in town? I don't even know if he watched the game, and he's like, no, I'll be back on Wednesday. So, yeah, apparently Daniel knew before we did. Fish and Beans in the house. What's up, brother? Nick Orr is here. Says, I'm a lifelong Vols fan, but truth be told, if we can't pass the ball, we have no chance versus Georgia or Alabama. Defense, running game, special teams will not be enough against them. Well, man, they've already started with the Texas A&M stuff. I knew today when I put out the day after video, immediately, Texas A&M sucks. Why are you celebrating this victory? They're no good. I knew it was coming. That's all right. We'll take every win we can get. Tennessee's 5-1 halfway through the season. I'm good with it. James Bowers is here. White Lightning Bob is in the house. I'm sure he'll be on the show here shortly. Knife Life says smash the thumbs up. We would appreciate it. We just hit 200 people in the chat. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the share button. Let somebody know we're live. We would greatly appreciate it. You guys being very generous right out of the gate. Volunteered 77 for 5 says Dorothy. GBO, thank you, my friend. Appreciate that super chat. Papa J says for $5, going to miss the Bama game. My daughter's boy.
I might not give him permission to marry my daughter if you're going to be doing it.
What are you doing?
Proposing during Tennessee Bama.
What are you doing? You're trying to defend it. Papa J says, going to miss the Bama game. My daughter's boyfriend is proposing in Virginia. I have to be there. Wedding will not be in the fall. Not going to happen. Coach J just hit the nail on the head. He's proposing on the third Saturday in October? Bro, you don't have my blessing.
Go get you some COVID or something, man. Go hang out in the COVID ward of the hospital, and then you won't be able to make it. You'll have to watch the Bama game, Papa J. I got you. Coach J's got solutions today.
Dude, just go to Walmart and lick every single buggy in the place. You'll get COVID, I promise, and you'll get your out. You'll be able to watch the Tennessee-Alabama game. Vader UT fan for 5 says Dorothy, a name change. Man, I'm ready to see those boys up front eat this weekend. They will stack the box, and Joe and wide receivers have their moment. I hope so. Man, I hope Joe puts it together. We'll see. Bobby for 5. We stick with Joe Milton all year, and he sits out a bowl game because of the knee, or even worse, just because how y'all feel. Wait.
I feel great.
I mean, you're talking. You're going to tell me that Nico's got a full season in the system, and he's going to come in and play the bowl game? I would have a lot of confidence if Nico started on the road this week. How about that?
Yep.
Oh, man, this fan base is so divided. And I know we talk so much about it during the post-game show, but you have to. You have to. Man, I don't want to bury the lead. I've got so many numbers and statistics to play with this week on Joe Milton. I don't want to bury him. Just yet. I'm going to sit on those, but we're going to be talking about this quarterback deal all week long. Timothy McGee for 5. Tennessee needs to go to Milton under center to allow our running backs to pick up speed to hit the holes harder and faster. I think I saw Volquest talking about that too. Interesting point, Timothy. Parker for 5. Need wide receivers to step it up before the season started. I'd have never guessed we would have struggled this much. I agree. Right? We're talking about Joe just needs to be efficient. And he has been at certain times. That's the thing. The best Joe's played has been efficient. It's either been efficient or terrible, right?
Yeah.
There's never been – he has not played a good, nowhere near great the entire season.
No, not at all. And I don't know how I feel about putting Joe under center. You know, I did rewatch the game. I don't know how many of y'all got to rewatch it, but a lot of specifically our early running success was counters off the fake bubble screen because we were spreading their defense out and putting them in conflict and not allowing a lot of people in the box. You go under center, you kind of change the complexion of that. I know you can still split people out. I'm aware of that. I get that. But it just still changes the complexion of where your safeties can kind of line up in conjunction to your guards, tackles, tight ends, and wide receivers from shotgun to center. So maybe in spots, I could see it being a good thing, but you know, kind of like nutmeg, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit of cinnamon or nutmeg on it, not a steady diet.
Yeah, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, goal line.
Yeah,
No
totally.
That.
Yep.
But, you know, the conversation that's happening a lot the last 24 hours, and it's going to happen a lot throughout the week, is that Josh Heupel is taking what he's got and he's rolling with it, right? He's not trying to force it. He's not trying to run the same offense he ran last week. But on the flip side of that, you don't completely change your identity, right? You don't say, well, I don't have Hendon Hooker, so we're going to run the wing T. You don't completely change your identity, but I think he's also playing to his strengths. You talked about the way they were setting up the run game. Josh Heupel's a mastermind, man. He knows what he's doing. There are some frustrating things going on. I get it. I understand it. But Josh Heupel, believe me, he gets paid, $9 million a year? He knows way more about football than anybody on this channel, anybody in the chat, anybody in the comments. Period. Hands down. No questions asked. He knows more than all of us. Orange Sea Line, Gary, he had to have upgraded his membership. Pretty sure Gary's been a member for a long time. What did Gary do? Gary upgraded to Talkin VAWLS Elite. Appreciate that, Gary. The link is out. It is out to everybody at the Talkin VAWLS.
Does Gary have a voice? Wasn't he at the game? Right?
Yeah,
Did
he was.
Come on before? Yeah.
I hope he doesn't have a voice.
Yeah, me too.
Did he give us all? Did he give us 63 effort? Did he give?
Although it took me a couple days to fully lose my voice after the South Carolina game. I could kind of talk on Sunday and just kind of slowly dissipated and died slowly over the
See, that's weird, man. Mine is, it slowly dies on the way home. It's like from Neyland. It's like every game I've been. Now, the good thing is going to homecoming, you ain't got to make noise. You just sit there and watch and enjoy. It's like going to a movie, right? Just sit back and enjoy the show. Evan counts for $20. That is not cheap. That is very generous. That is an orange boy. Let's get some more orange boys. Orange joys. They do create joy because I want to play this clip.
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
Evan says, my baby cousin takes classes and is really good friends with 4-star Cam Michael in Statesboro. Got her to text him for me to tell him how much we love and follow him on this channel. Y'all show him some love, Vol Nation. Did we do a film breakdown on him? I don't remember if we've done a breakdown, but I have made videos on him.
Yeah, I don't think we've done a breakdown on him, but would love to do a breakdown on him. I have watched a couple tidbits of film on him. Kid looks like a freak, so I would love to do a full breakdown on him. Good-looking football player.
He's a burner, and one thing about him is he's been a priority for this coaching staff, right? We're all talking about Ron Wingo, Mike Matthews, all these other big-time prospects. They were prioritizing Cam Michael the entire time. So we'll see. I think he likes Rocky Top. I think he likes Tennessee. I think he's got good relationships here. We shall see. We've got a $5 super chat from Timothy McGee. Says, yes, but if you watch, he holds the ball so long before he hands it off, the defender already in the backfield. Man, I don't know. I got a hard time complaining about the running game when Tennessee did what they did against Texas A&M. You know what I mean? I mean, they ran the football for 232 yards against it's the freaking Chicago Bears. What is it, the 84 Bears? Is that the year? I was like 3 years old. Was it the 84 Bears everybody talks about? So come on. Like, it's hard to complain about the running game. All right, let's turn this thing into a party. We got a whole host of guys back here. Let's bring them all on here at the same time and let them all talk over each other. So let's roll through the thing. Let's first go with Sports Talk Jay. I mean Brad. Brad, I thought he was Sports Talk Jay down there in the middle.
Yeah, I like putting on the background like Sports Talk Jay. Although at the games, the other folks around me like to call me Marty McGee.
Marty, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
How was the you and Gary both were there? How was the atmosphere, Brad?
I was actually talking about that a little earlier. Pregame, the atmosphere, Coach Jay, since you were at the South Carolina game, was a bit different. It seemed like, at the Vol Walk, I'm usually by where the band's at. So it gets pretty hype over there. The cheerleaders are over there.
Sure.
They got the Smoky mascot. It was really, to me, it was just very odd. Everybody seemed very subdued. It's almost as if they were like, oh, we're playing Texas A&M, whatever. Whereas South Carolina, like it was hype from the moment I walked on campus, all the way through to the end of the game. So I was a little bit worried. But once the game got started, we're inside the stadium, all the festivities of pregame, inside the stadium, it started rocking. So the atmosphere was pretty good. I would say that it wasn't as hype as the South Carolina game. Maybe that had a little bit to do with being an early afternoon game. A lot of folks didn't get to liquor up, as they say, before the game. But it was rocking. The folks around me though seemed to be pretty liquored up, so we had a great time.
What about you?
Night hits different at Neyland.
It does everywhere. It does everywhere though, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, Gary.
First of all, Gary, were you sending Morse code to somebody and muted yourself? I know you are in a war room right now.
I had to cough. I was going to say Brad didn't give his all for Tennessee because he has more of a voice than I do today.
Oh, yeah, we can hear it. There,
Gary's dying.
That's a beautiful sound right there, Gary.
Yeah, I'm having to clear my throat a lot. So, and I was up there and around the Texas Aggies fans up there in JJ, so they were good people.
Were they feeling strong for a few minutes and then they got deflated?
It was as soon as that first interception hit, a few of them started leaving.
Oh wow!
I bet they were feeling strong when they went up 7-0. I bet they were.
Yeah.
Man, there was this one guy. Man, he was wearing a Tennessee shirt, but was cheering for the Aggies the whole time. And he was sitting there heckling everybody. And my brother was drunk as, I'm not going to say the word that I wanted to say.
A skunk.
Yeah, we'll go
that's
with
what
that.
I was thinking. There's nothing offensive about skunk.
And my brother just started dumping on him all game. It was great.
How about that first down? How about Jabari Small? How about Jalen Wright? How about Dylan Sampson?
How about the run game in general?
Mm-hmm. How about who called it that we were going to run the football down their throats?
Hey, Campbell.
Thank you, you nailed it.
Campbell.
You told me all week long.
You nailed it.
You nailed it.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Campbell pulling was special, pulling from the tackle position Saturday afternoon. That's something that jumped right off the page.
That needs to happen moving forward, right?
Agreed.
But did anybody see the spot where we pulled the guard and the tackle, and they both whiffed on the defensive end? The defensive end made the play on Sampson. God, that was, or not Sampson. Wright, I think, was in on that one. Yeah, that was rough. But they look great. Other than that,
yeah,
absolutely. So, where do we start, guys? Let's not start with Joe. What do you guys think of the refs, especially you two that were at the game? Are we?
Wait a minute. Let's not jump straight to the refs.
I'm too excited.
What referees? What referees?
Okay, yeah. No, proceed. I'm Coach.
You're talking about the refs who were on the field when A&M had the ball, but they were not on the field when we had the ball.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
A Tennessee player had to. Yeah, but a Tennessee player had to have been. Like a Tennessee player had to have been violated, like to get any kind of penalty.
He couldn't have even.
But they were violated. They were holding the arm, saying you can't touch the ball, and not calling it on us. But we set a hand on their back to keep from falling into them, and we get called. What's up with that?
It's bad when CBS and Gary Danielson are saying that's pass interference.
Wow.
Yeah, they're in sync together. Yeah.
I mean, that tells you it's bad. Like the first one, was it Keaton? Like the first deep
Yeah.
shot they took. Like, I don't know if that was catchable or not, but that's holding.
That's
like
holding,
screw pass interference. It's holding. That's
Exactly.
what is that?
And the
Isn't that
one
an
in the
automatic
third
first down?
quarter where he
Yep.
actually got his hand over top of the receiver's arm to get him from catching the ball before the ball even got there. I mean, it was right there. It's plain as day. He
And he didn't
actually
turn
took
around.
his hands down with his hand, and our guy couldn't catch the ball because his hands got knocked out the way. But the ref is just like, oh, I can't see anything.
I think that was their coaching. Their coaching is to play the hands when the ball arrives, which that's Tennessee's coaching too. Everybody, we all argue about turning your head around, and I can't remember who was it. Was it Gabe? It was Gabe Judy Lolly. The deep ball that bounced off the helmet. And I was watching the Josh Heupel show this morning, and he's like, Gabe doing a great job right there, playing the hands like we want him to. And it's like, man, he was burnt. And I get it. When you're burnt, play the hands, right? You're sprinting.
Yeah.
Don't turn around. Play the hands when the receiver looks for the ball. So maybe that's a different circumstance. But let me jam some super chats. You guys being very generous, and maybe we'll get some talking points out of these. Timothy McGee for 5. Imagine how much more yards he hands the ball off faster. I just don't think we're going to change our offensive identity. We're not going under center.
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
You don't agree with going under center?
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like it. What do you guys think about 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, goal line situations? Why not run the dang quarterback sneak?
Yeah.
Your quarterback's a monster.
Tush push.
245
Because
pounds
he-
back.
Yeah.
And you're
Because-
telling me
the only
that he went to Michigan and he can't take a snap under center? Come on. That kid can
Well,
take a
here's
snap
the-
under center.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the
but can
thing:
you
the
take a hit
Tennessee's
under
offense. With Tennessee's offense, so it's always in the shotgun. If you come under the center, they're all over that quarterback. He is not go. He's not sneaking it in. They know what they're going to do.
Right, but even if you go under center, you'd have to
to mix in enough plays under center to keep them guessing. Otherwise, they're going to play up. When second he steps under center, they know what's coming. You're going to have to mix it up
Well,
enough
you know
to
what?
establish a little bit of a
Even if
counter
they know
identity.
what's coming, even if
But
they
with
know
our
what's
SEC
coming, do it. Do it. Even if they know it, you got to get an inch. You got to be able to get 1 inch. What was it?
Just do that Philadelphia Eagles.
Al
play.
Pacino.
I was gonna say.
Inches. Yeah. Come on. You got to be able to get 1 inch.
I
or
agree with
can't
you.
be
If
on
you can't move the line of scrimmage a couple inches, what are you
Yeah.
doing? I mean,
Yeah.
your
Well, the
offensive
Phila-
line, your bigs have got to be able to move people. You just got to do it. That's our running game's predicated on that. We can move bodies. The question becomes, can we move Alabama bodies? Can we move Georgia bodies? Can we move big 5-star bodies? That's what's going to tell the tale. If this offensive line can push forward enough to move big boys, really big boys,
100%.
not Texas A&M big, Alabama, Georgia big, then we're going to have something to talk about.
I
with
mean,
our running game.
We had one there. I can't remember who it was.
Texas A&M big is just as big as Georgia and
Yeah, they're good.
and Alabama
They're
big on the
good. Their
defensive
front
side,
seven
man.
was
I thought
what,
they were the
fifth
best
in-
defensive line in the country. That's what I was told all week long.
Nah.
Yeah.
All week long, Boogie, we were told that.
Now they're
Well,
nobody. Now they're
They
nobody.
got 6 sacks against Alabama. So what are we going to get? We're going to get 10.
Yeah.
Oh my
If
gosh.
only
The thing is,
better
we had-
sense, but
we had one play where we were coming across. We had a man in motion. I don't remember who it was. And the way that ball come out just right in front of him to Joe, I thought it was a direct snap with dude on the run. I thought that's going to be a hell of a play. And about that time, Joe had the ball, but that would have been a hell of a design play if they could have pulled that off. Because he was already at a dead run, headed for the edge.
I got to get super chat. I said, let me jam super chats. I got 1, and then we stopped. But Coach Rice, I want you tried 14 times to talk. Look, here's the deal. Everybody, we got 330 people watching. Like, this is a disaster. Every time I tune in on Sunday night, these guys talk over each other. They yell and scream. It's a fan call-in show. There's one YouTuber here, and that's me. Coach Jay's basically a YouTuber now too. You're a YouTuber. Just accept it.
All right, fine.
You're a YouTuber that coaches a little football on the side. So sometimes it's not dialed in. I have to yell at them. Ask these guys. Every fan call-in show, I go to the private chat. Guys, stop talking over each other, and then we get things dialed in, cleaned up, and we're going to have a good show. Coach, you've tried forever to talk. Now's your opportunity, and after Coach Rice speaks, I'm going to hit some super chats.
I get you. Well, I was just going to go off what we were talking about. The Philadelphia Eagles are 95% in the gun anyways, and they come up, they do the tush push, and they're the most successful team to do it. Now, I'm not saying that's always going to be the answer. We've struggled all year, third short, fourth and short, just not in very good situation, putting our guys in good situations to be successful. I mean, I will never question Coach Heupel, but I guess I am. That's the only thing I will ever question Coach Heupel is the way he calls 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It's just especially with Joe, it was a little different with Hendon because Hendon would keep it and, do his own thing. But Joe just 99% of the time is just going to hand it off. It's not even look like he's trying to read it. Mm-hmm. He's not even trying to read. He just give it and he takes a step back and, we're tackle 3 yards deep. So,
makes you wonder if it's like we've talked about before, if it's even a read option. It's just a straight run is what I think.
Yeah. To Coach Rice's point, if I can jump in real quick, there was one play pretty close to the goal line where it looked like it was a read play to go, the running back to go to the right, and then whole defensive line, offensive line collapsed, right? So the running back had that lane to go to the left, and the whole time I'm screaming from the stands, just keep it, Joe, and you get 20 yards off of that, right? Because you don't have that delay of the running back pounding the back of the line and then having to make that cut. So to your point, Coach Rice, I think he should keep the ball more often and run.
Mm-hmm.
But again, does he have the option?
He's scared
That's
too.
That's the question. I think he is too. I really do. I think he's scared to keep it too. But
and then he gets puffed up. Yeah, then he gets puffed up when somebody gets in his way, and he gets almost to the point where he's going to get you a penalty on the quarterback.
He'll do it when we don't need it. He'll do it when we don't need it, but when we do need that extra yard, let me shimmy out of bounds like a little, what.
Like the free play that he ran out yard short.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit some super chats. If they don't let me, I'm going to kick everybody off the show and just read super chats all night. Illegal use of the mouth. That's an interesting name. 5. I've been given a once in a lifetime chance. Got free box seats in T-Town this week. Can't wait to be the only guy in the box wearing orange. Go Big Orange. Who's in a factory? Is that Gary? No, Gary's muted. All right, it's Brad. It's Brad. Brad, are you in a what are you doing? I almost said something inappropriate.
I have a wired headset on today.
No, it's background noise. Hold on, let me try this. There, that cleaned it up. That cleaned it up. So you're good now. Sound like you were. I'm not going to say what I want to say. Let's see.
It sounds like it's Buck Family Week, fellas.
It is.
Oh,
it is. Thanks for cleaning me up there, Tom. I was about to make a big mistake on YouTube. Sean Cross for $20. That ain't cheap. That's yours. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top.
Love it.
Says T. Martin passed for 64 yards and 117 yards in the 1998 season. Tennessee won with a powerful running game, great defense, special teams, go Vols. Man, somebody wanted me to make a full video comparing the 98 team to this football team. T. Martin was way better with his legs than Joe Milton will ever be.
Too early anyway.
And I don't. This
and also we're not undefeated, fellas. I mean, it's
Yeah, true, but we don't have to be. I mean, the rest of the way, I mean, it's going to come down. If we win this Saturday, it's coming down to Georgia. I firmly believe if we can win Saturday on the road at Bama, it's coming down to Georgia. It really is.
Even if everybody can hate me, but even if we don't beat Georgia in a few weeks, if we come out of Tuscaloosa with a win on Saturday, I'm happy. I mean, I really am. I'm happy.
You're looking at 10-2, Tom. You beat Alabama. You're looking at 10-2.
We
Quick
ran
question
the
is
ball like men yesterday because of our offensive line and our tailbacks, but we won in spite of Joe Milton. You said, or somebody said it last night, we won in spite of Joe Milton.
Yeah.
And hey, man, if they had put Nico in about UTSA time, let him make his mistakes, get a feel for actually doing it in game. Does anybody else think that would have been a little bit different of a game yesterday? Just a little bit.
It's hard to say, though. He's still a freshman, guys. Yeah. I mean, I'm not playing the freshman card over the top, but he's still a freshman. He's going to make mistakes.
And our 6-year senior quarterback still making freshman mistakes.
Seth's been sitting here not speaking the entire time, and he fires off exactly what I was going to say.
But how do you know that
Absolutely.
you? How do you
And John,
know how
by the
the
way,
upperclassmen
that's
respond?
an awesome background. I don't think you said a word since you've been in, but that's an awesome background, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Tom, do you have ADD?
Hell yeah.
I thought so. Here's a $5 super chat from Robert Tuck. Says, can Coach do a breakdown on Silsbee, Texas wide receiver Draylon Miller? He's an A&M commit, and our Vols were in his top 5. He plays on the same team as Austin. I can assure you that I will not allow Coach J to do that if there is no interest from Tennessee. I only highlight, Tennessee targets, Tennessee commits. If Tennessee has no shot, probably not going to be highlighted. You want to DM Coach J and say, hey, give me your thoughts? That's up to him. Follow him on Twitter. Let me scroll across the bottom here. At Coach_JP_123.
There you go.
There you go.
Quick question, guys. Say we do beat Bama real quick. Just, when we beat Bama. Bama still in the top 25?
Yeah.
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 Yeah?
Probably ranked higher than Tennessee.
Yeah.
Probably.
They'll take them out.
They're
They'll take
11.
them top 25 just to mess with our new ranking. I'll guarantee you they would do something like that. They hate Tennessee. Everybody hates Tennessee.
Oh yeah, we beat Alabama. We'll still be ranked 3 spots below them.
You got lucky. It's a once in a Yeah. I hear you.
I got more super chats. I got more super chats in. Andrew in for $20. That's an orange boy. I'm about to kick everybody. I got to get through these super chats. Andrew in drops an orange boy. Let's play the clip.
Rocky Top!
This is actually pretty funny. Andrew says, trying to think of something else positive to note before Joe gets to focus, and it was nice to hear everyone cheering for Haddon. Once again, they read starting lineups in Neyland, and the defense went out and had a day. Did they? Because somebody tagged me on Twitter and said they booed him. Gary, were you in the stadium when they introduced the starting lineups?
Yeah, he was cheered.
Okay, good. That's good. Because Kamal Haddon's playing good football right now.
You're making a difference, Boogie.
Am I really?
Yes.
I don't know that I am because I tried to preach a narrative all week and it fell on deaf ears. Everybody was terrified of that Texas A&M defensive line.
No, but now
Boogie is only 6 degrees.
We're in step 4 of the nega ball, where we just downplay our opponent and just say how trash our opponent was, and so we're trash because they're trash. That's where we're at.
I told you guys it was coming. It came on the video this morning. Immediately this morning, Texas A&M sucks.
A&M's
immediately.
No, they're good. They're good. And even from me, from the person who's usually like, oh yeah, they're bad. We had a bad schedule. No, Texas A&M was a good win. It was sloppy as hell, but that was a good win.
But you need some of those. I mean, we're going to win ugly. This team is not built to finesse and light up the scoreboard with 52 points and, track meet people. There are going to be a lot of ugly trench wins. That's what Bama will be.
It just
if I had to
the
guess,
last
we're
couple of
going
years
to grind Bama down and run it down their throat.
I love that. We're going to grab them by the throat and run the ball until they just beg us to stop. I mean, it's going to be great.
Yesterday,
like we did in 9/11 when we went down to Florida. And Fulmer said, we're going to run the ball down their goddamn throats.
Easy.
That's what we did to Spurrier.
Easy.
That was got. DOT. Got.
That's too close. That's too close for this year.
And that's what we did. And I feel like that's what this team is built to potentially do. Right?
Poop mouth.
Coach J immediately turns his emoji
Poop
on.
mouth.
All right.
So yesterday,
I can't be associated with this kind of
Coach Rice. I got a question for Coach Rice. Are you more of a defensive or offensive coach? I know Coach J is a linebackers coach. I'm O-line coach. What do you work on?
I'm an OC.
This is deja vu. Didn't we have this conversation 2 weeks ago?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Information, man. It goes. Yeah.
At that ADHD, man.
Wait, so you said you coach what, Tom?
I'm an OC. Oh.
No, I know what Coach Rice. You're O-line. Oh, okay.
I'm the water guard.
He won't let me coach anything else.
You're way too skinny to be an offensive line coach. Like, look at Sam Pittman.
I went to private
That's what I'm looking for.
I went to private school. That's why I played offensive line at a school.
I'm just the water boy.
I was the big guy. Yeah. Well, one of the 2 or 3, and that was it. Yeah. So you're playing offensive line, dude.
Yeah, how
All
that
right,
goes.
awkward moment of silence. More super chats. Parker Townsend for 5. Illegal use of the mouth. Hate to say it, but I'll be in the box seats as well. Hey, you guys rep some Talkin Vols merch and take over Tuscaloosa. That would be amazing. Thank you, Parker, for the super chat. J-Vol for 2. Is that Philip Fulmer behind John Hill? Certainly looks like him. He's wearing sunglasses. He's saying we got to work like heck to get better. We also got $2 from Will Murley. Love Coach Heupel, but I hate our third, fourth, and short offense. Somebody just said that. Was it Gary that just said that, I think? No. Okay, Coach Rice just said that. Yeah, I probably agree with you. Vols Titans 8 becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that support. You guys can be a part of that. You want to get on this cluster of a show, hit the join button down below, and you can get the link and jump on here and talk some Tennessee football. Peyton, 24 for 5. I worked for the Railroad somehow, got to watch most of the game, stuck in anybody want to pronounce it? Oneida, Tennessee, on a freight train. Either way, glad we won, and go Vols. Thank you, Peyton, for the super chat. Timothy with another $5 super chat says, wide out sucks, tight end and running backs. You can win with them. Wide receivers have butterfingers. The entire passing game as a whole sucks, right? All of it.
It's getting to the point I can't tell where the problem is.
Bad. It's all bad. And you could take a 50-50 shot as to whether or not it's even going to hit the hands of the receiver when Joe throws it. I'm sorry.
It's going to be behind him.
It's either behind him or it's 10 feet in front of him.
I thought Nimrod played well, not only in the pass game. He was catching balls that were behind him. I think there was the one good slant that was on time from Joe early in the game, but the other balls were kind of behind him. And I'll tell you what, I think why we saw Chaz play rather than Caleb Webb is because he looked good in the blocking game on the outside as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Why can't they put D
I will
in?
say that.
D's the playmaker. Put him in.
Blocking, Ollie Lane. He did not look good blocking. He had a bunch of holding penalties, and they actually were holds. They actually were holds instead of just bad calls. I mean, there were one or two bad calls on holds in that game, but those were not bad calls on Ollie Lane. And it's because he does this. I tell my dudes, come off like this with your hands already inside. You can still steer them. Yeah, no holding penalties.
Ollie Lane played 77 plays and graded out at a 50.8.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad he played.
It's because of penalties.
The entire offense graded out pretty bad. Just interesting. Cooper Mays graded out the highest, 76.7, and then Jalen Wright, 75. McAllen Castle, 72, and then, like Coach Jay just said, Chaz Nimrod, 68.8. That's not elite. That's not great. That's graded as a backup on the verge of starter, but still the fourth highest graded player according to PFF. I like the PFF grades. I don't know if I'm debating paying for it because it gives you a lot of stats like targets and different things that I think would be valuable to the channel.
You know what the problem is, guys? Is we don't have Alex.
You took my answer, bro.
If Alex Golesh
Come
was
on,
here,
you
he'd
took
call
my
perfect plays because Alex Golesh didn't get beat 97-0 by freaking Florida Atlantic yesterday. Come on, guys, get it. Some people need to get a grip on the Golesh thing. His offense has looked awful this year. Awful.
Does anybody on this panel think that Golesh is the reason for the offense
Milton.
struggling?
That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's call it
the
what
play
it is.
calling is coming because of Joe Milton. Period.
A little bit.
The one good thing Gary Danielson said the whole game, and I'm actually giving Gary Danielson one thing of credit.
Good night.
Is he said that they're dwindling the offense because of Joe Milton. He said, and then that play that interception where the safety was literally standing there the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they can't draw up plays where he has to actually make reads through an offense. It's look at this guy, and then we're screwed. That's the reason why he's so indecisive. I'm telling you, I got a senior quarterback that could play better than him. It's bad, y'all.
Well, good.
He's so indecisive.
I would have loved it.
I'll bet your senior knows what's about to happen in the play calling because he knows y'all and your play calling style. He knows the offense. He knows his line. He knows the situation when he comes up to the line. And I keep saying it. Joe is the go here, do this one thing. Don't think about it because it's the one thing you got to do. And you do it perfectly because you're a hell of an athlete. But he's not a quarterback. He can't come to the line, and I'll gauge everybody against Peyton because I saw him play. And it's just coming to the line, and he's pointing out people. He knows what's coming, knows the offense.
He's the leader.
He just is not going to – yeah.
Yeah.
Cooper Mays is the leader on this football team.
It's getting this bad. It's getting this bad, y'all. I would literally take Joe out of the game. If we're not going to go to the Nico way, put another running back in the game and go single wing. Go single wing the rest of the year and just run power down everybody's throat.
Power.
Bill.
Yeah, you just told Coach Jay. You just told Coach Jay. Let's run power. But I do want to address that one comment that we're playing too conservative, and I get that sentiment because it's like you just want them to roll the dice at that point because it's tough to watch this offense, right? You want them to take a couple shots, but consider this: like we could have easily, let it hang out a lot more for Joe Milton, but he could have easily thrown 5 more picks, and we could have got buried in that game if we gave Joe Milton the ball. Taking it out of his hands could very well have been a reason why we won that game. Because looked to me like if we put the game in Joe Milton's hands, he would have thrown 3-4 more picks, and we would have got beat by 20.
It's totally the reason why.
So if he runs it a little bit more, though, if they run that option, and what was I saying just yesterday before the game? Are we going to see some option? And guess what? They ran some option, and there was a beautiful
3 times
where his 6'3", 245-pound frame is used.
He's bigger than you think he is. That's what makes it worse.
Yeah. But they used him perfectly, and he used himself perfectly based off the offensive line block and the way the linebacker came off. And he just kept it and went inside and didn't pitch the ball. When they had, what was it? Was it Squirrel? Or somebody came off on a receiver option, and he didn't pitch it, and he kept it, and it was a beautiful play. Beautiful play. They need to run that 2 or 3 times in different forms. But, yeah, if they do that and use him the right way, get his confidence going, and then he could be a little bit better. But I'm looking forward to Nico time, baby, next year. I'm telling you.
I got one more thing. One more thing, then you can get to Super Chats, Boogie. I know that's what you're getting to. So let's go back to Dobbs' freshman year offense, where you got Pig Howard, a.k.a. Squirrel White. You got Jalen Hurd, a.k.a. Jalen Wright. And then you got Josh Dobbs, who, a.k.a. I'm not comparing him to Josh Dobbs. Don't even think that.
Go ahead and do it.
Freshman year where they really didn't trust Dobbs to throw the ball. They ran jet sweep, ran counter off of that with the run game, ran power off of with quarterback. Do all that, use the eye candy, and just run the ball. That's what they did. Jalen Hurd, Josh Dobbs, and Pig Howard went off the end of that year just doing lots of triple option type where you had 3 options, not full triple option, but, I just don't trust Joe Milton throwing the ball. I just don't. And just, let's just dive in the run game. If we run the ball every play, we do it. I mean,
he knows what he's about to do is the right thing, he does it. When he knows that he's set up to do the right thing, he does it. He didn't do it. Coach Jay, you said something about it on that play where they were doing it was the 4th and 1, 4th and 2, had a receiver in motion. Receiver wind up going in from behind the offensive line, going across the line of scrimmage. He didn't tuck it and run, and he didn't make the decision to throw, but he didn't have his confidence going. If they're hell-bent on sticking with Joe Milton, they got to get his offense going from his confidence. That's the only way it's going to work. Because, Coach Rice is right. He can't throw the ball just cold. Got to get his confidence.
I want to come back to what Culberson says there. I'm going to hit a couple of super chats. We'll come back to that. Vader UT fan for 5. Anyone watch the A to Z postcast Had to turn it off 3 times because Crompton was being absolutely ridiculous. Lost a lot of respect for him.
I couldn't watch that.
Who told me?
Who was being ridiculous?
Somebody told me they tried to watch it and turned it off too.
I did.
Coach Jay.
Well, I did.
I didn't think it was you.
Maybe Wayne. I was giving him a hard time about his UCLA performance because I was pissed.
So somebody was talking about that too, and I love their halftime show. I listen to their halftime show every week while I'm putting notes together and whatever. And he defends Joe every single week. Timothy McGee for 2. Wishbone Wildcat would be nice.
He was right about that part. I thought he was just off base on about a lot of other stuff, but I think he was right about everybody just blaming Joe and not blaming everything, and not looking around Joe as well.
I mean, but the thing is, let's be honest. Have the receivers struggled at times? Yes. That's why it was so maddening when Joe does something that
Keaton can't
pisses
catch
me
a
off.
cold this year.
No, and that's the thing. Like, right, I'm ready to freaking go off on Joe Milton. And then the very next play, he puts a little touch right to Ramel Keaton. Ramel Keaton drops it. I get it. The wide receivers are struggling too. They're not the problem. Somebody said, what would happen if I don't know if they said Josh Dobbs or Hendon Hooker was the quarterback of this offense? Would they still be struggling because of the wide receivers? Absolutely not. No questions asked. This team would be undefeated. If you had Hendon Hooker or Josh Dobbs as the quarterback, this team would be undefeated, and they would be favored going on the road to play Alabama. I promise you. I promise you. That's how good this defense is. That's how good this run game is. We're going to talk about Joe Milton, and I get it, Culberson. I'm almost tired of it too, but good Lord have mercy. When's the last time we've been this unified on a quarterback? When Hendon Hooker was taking snaps. But now we're unified because nobody believes in Joe because he's a 6-year senior and you're halfway through his final ride. Is he going to change in the final 6 games?
No. He still made
It's
7
Jarrett
mistakes.
Man. I'm sorry. He's Jarrett Garantano sometimes. Sometimes. It's not quite as bad as that because he's made some good throws. Receivers have dropped some balls. But he does these boneheaded things sometimes. And where is it coming from? 6-year senior. Where is it coming from? He looked at that safety, looked at him the whole time, and then he threw the ball right to him.
If Ramel Keaton caught the 2 balls he was supposed to catch yesterday, nobody would be talking about Joe.
How many
we'd still be talking about
how many
Joe.
balls did he dropped one that was a touchdown. He dropped one.
He would have had we're talking about 6 to 14.
That was a 30
yards.
That was 40, maybe 40 yards. Still doesn't excuse that 6th grade mistake where the safeties it wasn't disguised. He was literally there the whole play. It was not a disguise. They were in cover 3 the whole way, and he was just standing there. I mean, there was no disguise to the defense. And Joe Milton just literally throws it to he thinks for some reason, I guess he thought they were in cover 2 or some type of cover 2 man or something. He literally, the safety is sitting there right dead in the middle, and he just threw it.
All I'm saying is if Ramel Keaton catches the 2 balls that he should have caught, you're looking at close to 2. You're looking at probably 200 yards passing instead of 100 yards passing. You're also looking at a 63% completion rate instead of a 50% completion rate, and you're looking at a balanced offense.
Well, here's my take. Oh,
that's a good way to characterize it. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah,
let Bob go.
Well, my thing about Joe, and I said it before the A&M game, the man is playing scared. He doesn't want to get hit, and that's what's confusing me. His confidence is down because he doesn't have the touch. He can't connect it on a deep ball. He's scared to get hit because you can tell that when he's running, trying to get to the outside. He's a yard short instead of go ahead and making that left and hammer it in. He hits for the sidelines, but yet he takes a couple of them in the A&M game straight up the middle and takes the hit. Come on, make up our mind. Which way are you going to play, Joe? You know me. All this season I've been saying, give Joe a chance. Give Joe a chance. I'm done. My hands are washed. I'm done. The man can't make up. He cannot make up his mind, and he's scared to play the game. Get him out of here.
We have 1 loss. You can't blow a quarterback when you have 1 loss.
I think that's a big part of it, Gary. And Cast Iron Volunteer says Keaton should sit before Joe. I love the back and
Agreed.
forth. This is what I'm here for, and that's why I'm glad Coach Rice said his piece. Let Gary say his piece. That's what I want. I want differing opinions. Let me get a couple of super chats also talking about Joe, and I want to continue the conversation. This is good back and forth because I think there are problems with Joe and the wide receivers both. So I'm here for this. Tristan for 5. Joe does decent if the play goes exactly to plan. Once it goes bad, he just can't think and play ball. Hype, I think, is loyal to the upperclassmen. That's what Tom's been screaming for the last 49 minutes and 42 seconds. If it goes perfect, Joe's great. If one thing changes, Joe struggles. How many times have we seen him try to check out of a play, right? Check with me, and he looks over, and I'm like, Joe, there's 6 seconds on the play clock. You're not changing the play. How many timeouts have been wasted because of that? David Hall for 2 says, sorry, guys, dragging in late but listening now. Appreciate that, David. Welcome to the party. Pecan for 10. Dog me all day, but JG was a better QB than Joe Milton.
Yep.
You know me, I was one of the biggest JG haters on planet Earth. Still feel we need to finish year with Milton or maybe tossed in Gaston. JG would have been –
I've ever heard.
I think – I'm telling you something. Everybody hated JG. I think he would have been a way better – JG got a rough deal, man. He got a rough deal. He made it to the NFL for a reason, right? You don't make it to the NFL if you suck. You don't just get hey, man, you're tough, right? That's what everybody said about JG. Oh, he's tough. You don't get to the NFL because you're tough. JG would have been way better in this offense. Is he better than Joe?
No.
Let's go around the room.
Indecisive.
Let's
wasn't
go around.
Indecisive.
Coach Rice clearly thinks JG would have been better than Joe. Coach Jay?
I have to pick, man. Oh, crap.
This is like an election.
Can I go with the Wildcat that Coach Rice wanted to do earlier?
No. You got to choose a starting quarterback. JG is a senior, or Joe Milton as a 42-year-old man, 14-year senior.
Think about the indecisiveness, Coach Jay.
Look at Coach Rice. He's politicking. He's politicking down here.
I guess JG, but man, it's
that's
ugly.
Two. That's
it's
two.
An ugly. It's picking between marrying your cousin and your sister. It is not a pretty
evil
decision,
of two lessers.
guys.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you what. I'm going with JG. That's 3 votes. Bob, who you going with? JG or Joe Milton?
It's got to be JG. He didn't play scared.
That's 4-0. Tom.
If you use Joe Milton right, he's better than JG. Come on.
You're going Joe.
Yeah.
So that's what?
And
1,
I'm
2, 3,
not
4
the
to
Joe
1.
Milton fan I used to be. I'm not. I just I'm going.
Be careful, Tom. We're all Joe Milton fans, right? We want Joe.
I'm a Joe Milton fan.
Hey, I want him to succeed. Good.
Yes.
Gracious, he can't do it.
We're going to call a spade a spade. That's it. Eric, who you going with? It's 4-1.
I'll go with Joe.
4-2.
Only because
Gary,
the upside is bigger with Joe.
Okay. Gary, I know where you're going, but give me the reason why, Gary.
Joe, you guys said you were like, oh, JG didn't play scared. No, he played stupid. And I'd rather have if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather play a little bit scared than stupid.
It's mostly stupid, though.
Okay, it's 4-3. It's 4-3, and Seth is he's gonna tie. He's gonna make this a tiebreaker.
Right, look, Seth, come on. We're 5-1 right now.
Talking
We're
politics.
5-1 right now, Seth. JG was never 5-1.
Seth, don't buy into it, bro. Give.
Which coaching staff?
It's
this one.
Heupel's coaching staff. JG is better.
JG was such
I
a
don't
head
care.
case. It doesn't matter.
This is great.
Hey, did you read my
Joe's a
private
head
chat?
case. Joe's a head case.
Did you read my private chat?
Seth, put it out. Don't lie. Don't hide it. Put it out.
I'm still picking Joe. I'm still going with Joe.
Yes,
I just like what more you could do with him. I know it's not great right now, but heck, we're winning games with him.
God, I love our Colts.
Because
we're winning games. Exactly,
what's
Coach.
around him?
Exactly.
Was that around him in the Jeremy Pruitt?
I know
and
it
Bush
bless
Jones
Gary
No.
Cano's heart, man, but he made some doofus plays on a regular basis.
Somebody brought up a good point. There's only one way to settle this. Let me go into YouTube. Let me pull up the chat here, and let's see here. I don't even know how to do a poll. I'm such an idiot. Start
Coach
a poll.
Rice, you had a good point just a
starting?
second ago.
All right, go
Context. You did. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Book.
No, you
One's
good.
in the chat. One's in the chat. If you'd call your own number when you're trying to beat Alabama and then f things up.
He wasn't scared.
And I know y'all are going to come back with the Ole Miss game, but I don't give a crap about the Ole Miss game compared to that Alabama game.
Yeah.
All right, I got to make sure I vote here.
All right, there. The poll is up. The poll is up. Who you starting in Josh Heupel's offense? Joe Milton
I just
or Jarrett
accidentally
Garantano?
voted for
I also
Jarrett
remember seeing
Garantano.
Jerry Garantano on the sidelines pouting whenever he got pulled one time, just pouting like a little baby.
Let me hit some more super chats. We're going to come back to this.
But to
Gary's
Garantano's
like,
credit,
Boogie, I don't care. I'm going to talk.
the next week he did rat on Pruitt and open up the you can't convince me otherwise that he wasn't the reason Pruitt got investigated.
Amen.
Jared Garantano.
The fact that it's close.
Oh, well, then
That's my
thank God for
conspiracy
Jared
theory.
Garantano
Disgusting.
then.
That's my conspiracy theory. I'll tell you later. Read your super chats.
What are you going to do it on air or off air, Gary?
I'll do it on air.
Okay,
I'll do it on
okay.
air.
Wayne for 5, a 6-year senior throwing the football over and over into deep middle safety is inexcusable. Nico can do that as a freshman. Man, I thought most of his fan base was aligned, but clearly there are some. Like Wayne's with us. I'm just saying, still kind of shocked that so many people are riding with Joe. Robbie for 5. JG was a good quarterback who was ruined by a bad coach. I agree with that. You can see it that he got to the league with one season on another team. I agree with that. Pecan for 2. JG's problem was Winky the Pooh and Pruitt. I agree with that. Timothy, but also maybe there's a reason why JG's aunt messaged me and said thank you for defending him, because I got roasted on this channel for my support of Jarrett Garantano. Timothy McGee for 5. I think Joe would be better if he played more traditional offense. He throws to a place on the field. Then wideout didn't have option routes. That's something that Crompton talks a lot about, is the option routes and how that's creating a problem for Joe Milton. By the way, the link is out for Talking Vols Gold and higher. Brain Chadman is in here. Let me. Brain, your wife's yelling at you.
All right.
So make sure you either tell her. No, I'm not going to say that. Maybe kindly mute yourself. I'm going to mute Brain and bring him back on. We got Evan in here as well. Let me hit a couple of more super chats here. Wade Rouse for 2 says JG if he was with hype from his freshman year on. That's a good point. Papa T's in the house. What's up, brother? He drops the Orange Boy. We'll play the clip just for Papa T.
Rocky Top!
Papa T says passing issues 60% Joe, 40% receivers. Joe's confidence elevates when receivers catch the ball. Our run game is solid. Defense travels and wins ball games. Ugly or not, just win. Joe and nobody will criticize an SEC title. Spot on, Papa T. Papa T bringing the facts, calming everybody down. I would probably say 70% Joe, 30% receivers. Let's go around the room with this. Coach, put a percentage on it. I'm going 70-30.
Yeah, I guess 70-30 is fair. I'll take 70-30. That's fine.
Bob?
I'm going to have to do the same thing, 70-30. I think it's more Joe than the receivers, but the receivers got they got their blame to share too.
Tom?
100%. 100%.
Joe Milton?
70-30.
Oh, yep. I thought you were going 100% Joe Milton.
No. Because the receivers.
Tom's heart going hard in the paint.
No, they have in a couple of key spots. They've let him down badly, and I felt bad for Joe the first few games. I was like, "See, it's not." And Boogie, I put comments up in the first few games. I was like, "See, it's not Joe's fault. The receivers are dropping some beautiful balls," and then all of a sudden, I was like, "No, it's not. It's Joe." Yeah, there you go, 70-30.
Who's next? I was looking at the Seth. Who you got? What's your percentage?
70-30. 70-30, Joe.
Coach Rice, he's going higher.
90-10, Joe.
Oh.
Mainly because Joe, the whole offense has changed because Joe can't, run the offense like it needs to be run. That's why he's 90%.
Gary, what do you got?
60-40, we're milk eating.
Ramel's been
2
bad.
plays.
Oh man,
2 plays.
Gary is the
No, it's not just 2 plays. it's at least one touchdown every game.
It was 2 this last game.
It was 2 this last. Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bob.
he lost 2 that would have been touchdowns. The one we all saw, and there was another one. He didn't have but 2 people in front of him. I know he would have beat him.
How
He
many
was
would he
gone
have had
both
if Joe,
times.
Joe hit him when he was open, though?
I don't know. He played freaking hot potato with one that was wide open. So
Well, actually, after missing the first 2, Joe wasn't throwing to him no more.
yeah, he had 0 receptions yesterday. So
This may be the most negative show we've ever done after a win, sitting at 5-1. But I'm here for it.
Positivity, 5-1.
Yeah,
we're
I'm here
doing
for
well.
it.
We're
Eric,
doing
what do you
well.
got? What's your percentage? Joe versus
I would
receivers?
do 70-30. I think that's fair. I mean, with the receivers dropping, it's that they're dropping them in big plays. It's touchdowns we're giving up. It's not just it's a couple of drops, but they're critical drops. It's 6 points you're giving away. But you're right. The most negative show for a 5-1 team, and how much confidence do we have going into Bama? We're sitting at 5-1. I mean, if you'd have told me after Florida that debacle, that dumpster fire, if you'd have told me after Florida we'd roast South Carolina and then grind out a win against A&M, I'd have taken it all day long, because I had us staring at like 7-5 at best coming out of Florida week. And now we're 5-1, and there's no way we finish 7-5. I don't think, even with Joe Milton's problems, that we're going to lose that many down the stretch. We're going to grind out games with defense, and we're going to win ugly. And, I think the 2 toughest are in front of us, Bama and Georgia. I mean, we're not bad. We just could be that much better. And we were spoiled last year at 10-2. So now we see what we've got. It's just we don't have it right now.
And I think Alabama's going to be tougher than Georgia is, myself, personally.
Because of the environment?
Exactly.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't know how hype gets to his players and if he can calm them down, because every time I see us on the road, we look like we're so scared, like deers in headlights. Florida, South Carolina last year, Georgia, and that's what I worry about. It's not a talent thing, and we can go toe-to-toe with Bama for 15 rounds.
I conveniently left out LSU.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. And that's the one where you go, well, we jumped on them early. And I reminded myself of that. Thanks for bringing that up. I did remind myself of that last time I got this mindset. Yeah. Yeah, but there's a difference between a Pitt environment and a Georgia environment. Just my opinion. I think Georgia's that much scarier than Pitt. I mean, honestly, that's a daunting environment. And so will Bama. Bama will be the same way. It's like the swamp. Give them credit. These road games in the SEC are a different breed. They really are.
Yeah, we talked before the game about how many rushing yards you think Tennessee needs to beat A&M, and I think we settled in the 170 regions. But I think Joe needs to throw for at least 240 for us to beat Bama, and I still think we can rush and be successful and grind them out and do all those things. But I think you need at least 240 out of Joe to keep him honest.
Agreed.
I don't think it's a yardage.
It's going to have to be.
I think it's a.
It's got to be an. It's got to.
Hold on.
And you got to be even between pass and run.
Gary, go, then Bob, go. Gary, go, then Bob, go.
I said I don't think it's a hard number that you need on the passing attack. I think you do need enough to keep them honest, but I don't think there's a hard number on that. I think it's just you've got to be able to actually connect on at least a couple of those long balls to where they have to respect the pass.
It's fair.
Go ahead, Bob.
And that's what I was getting at. It needs to be a balanced offense. You got to have the rushing and the passing. If you got it so lopsided, that's why it looked so ugly, because we were so lopsided. We had an excellent day running a ball, we couldn't pass it. Whereas the week before, our last game prior, we had almost a dead even offense. We were almost the same mileage, whether you're on the passing or the rushing game, and we looked outstanding. And that's the key of it. That keeps them honest, and it keeps them off balance.
Coach,
that being said,
go ahead, Gary.
Oh, go ahead. I'll say that being said, there's enough danger in that screen game with Squirrel to where if they do start stacking the box, trying to stop the run, that screen can just gash them. So they have to respect that screen too.
How much do you think they went away from that, though? We talked a little bit about it. Coach Jay brought it up in the postgame show, without Brew on the perimeter blocking, because they only ran that maybe twice, 3 times, maybe.
Yeah, but I think now that you've seen what Nimrod can do blocking, I think they'll start dialing it up a little more again.
Let me hit a couple more super chats. We got to switch to some positivity. Alex Cole for 5. How are we going to beat Bama with Joe? I'll get through some negativity. We'll come back to positivity. Honestly, they're better coaching than Dumbo. They're going to key on the run. Then what? I understand that frustration. Marshall for 5. Give me Josh Dobbs and a Josh Heupel offense. That would be so fun to watch. Also, Marshall becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, man. If you guys want to be a part of this chaos, the fan call-in show, the link is out to everybody that contributes at Talking Vols Gold or higher. If you go to the YouTube channel, you go to the community tab. If you are a member of this channel at Talking Vols Gold or higher, the link is there for you. You can jump on the show, hang out, voice your opinion. I love it, man. This is what this community is all about. Gary I feel like he's standing on an island on his own. But we're respecting Gary, right?
I love it.
He's making valid points. That's what it's all about. Like, when you come in and say, oh, well, you're not a real fan if you want to bench Joe Milton, or you come at Gary and say, well, you're not a real fan if you think Joe's the quarterback, you're weak. You're weak.
It doesn't matter if I think he's the quarterback or not. It matters what the team thinks.
Right. But it's fun to have the conversation, right? Your opinion's valid. My opinion's valid. That's the beauty of this community. Coming on the show, having differing opinions, talking about it. Gary's giving me some stuff to think about, man. What about Ramel Keaton? What about these wide receivers? How much is that impacting the I almost said throw game. I said it on Kaner's show, and now I just said it again, so I'm going to play this in honor of myself.
And
self-deprecation.
You have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
You know, Tavon Jackson.
I love it.
Tavon Jackson threw for 52 yards on Saturday, so too bad we don't have him.
Yeah.
It's Joe Milton numbers right there.
Coach You're becoming the ultimate troll. No. Power T drops a $5 super chat. Says, how confident are you going into Alabama with our quarterback play? We're going to talk about Alabama. We're going to talk about Alabama coming up here in just a second.
Boogie needs a new dartboard.
I do. Good Lord. My dartboard grenades have been thrown at it. It was blown up. The entire back wall of the office is gone. Trey drops a $20 super chat. That's an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Love it.
Trey says, here is the positivity. Thank you, Trey, for getting us back on track. One last bit of negativity. How crazy is this? 12 minutes in, 135 votes. We got 360 people watching. Go vote in the poll. I beg you guys to like the video, and you don't, and that's fine. Go vote in the poll. At least do me that favor. 51% JG, 49% Joe Milton. That is interesting.
Just like the room. Just like the room.
The fact that it's even that close is bad.
That tells you
considering how bad JG was, done by this fan base.
It's true.
Yep. All right, let's talk about some positivity. Going into the Alabama game, how about this Tennessee defense, man, and how they are getting after the quarterback, how they are impacting the ground game. This defense, who would have thought that a Josh Heupel offense was going to score 7 points? The offense scored 7 points, and they went and won that football game against Texas A&M.
I tell you what, after this year, y'all better just take in all the James Pierce you got, because that boy's going to be a first-round pick next year. He's going to be a first-round pick come next year.
That killed the whole idea of, can Josh Heupel's teams play defense? Blah, 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 blah. Is he even like Lincoln Riley? Blah, 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 blah.
I thought the quarterback was different after Pierce came through the middle and hurt his hip early in the game.
Was that Pierce? I thought it was Barron.
No, it was Pierce.
It was Pierce. I kind of thought it was live too at first, but upon rewatch today, it was 100% Pierce. So he put a licking on him too. And I thought the quarterback was different after then. But let's hear from the new guys. Maybe Evan, we haven't heard from you. Who's your defensive MVP for this team so far? Let's talk about something good, right?
Gosh, man, I think it has to be Pierce. I mean, he's been absolutely just blowing people up in the back. And if he's not hitting them, he's back there. I can't really remember. Sorry, you can hear my kid in the background. But I don't think I remember a time where it was I don't know where I felt this good about a Tennessee defense. I mean, last year we had good ends, edge rushers, but this year it's just different. I mean, Tyler Barron stays back there, Pierce stays back there, and then even I.
Did your kids just tell you suck? Is that what they
No, he said
That's what I thought.
he probably is. He probably feels he does feel that way. He does feel that way. I can tell you that he's 3 and he doesn't really like the way Joe Milton plays. So, but yeah, no, I feel really good about our front seven. I mean, this year's just it's different. It seems like each week we get better and better, and so that's been great to watch. I wish Joe Milton could get his stuff together on the offensive side of the ball. You guys were saying, 70-30. I'm more like 75-25, and I think his situational awareness is just destroying us. I mean, there's just been it's okay if it happens once or twice, but the fact that it happened 2, maybe 3 times, I guess 3 times you count the interception play in that game, it's just it's killer, man. It's hard to watch. And I know it kills Josh Heupel. I think that press conference was the first time he said something like where he's like, yeah, like you could see it in his face, like he's got to be, more efficient. We can't be making those mistakes. So yeah, it's been something else, man.
Look, we're an hour and 10 minutes into this thing. Talkin VAWLS Elite and higher. You guys have been here for an hour and 10 minutes. We got a couple of guys in the back room that want to jump on, and immediately Bob's like, all right, screw you.
All right, fine, I'm out.
Bob's like, oh, I'm leaving. We need one more person to leave. We got a couple of people in the back room. I want to try to get some of these Talkin VAWLS Gold guys on, and even I think it's down to Faithful now. So if one more person can bounce, I would greatly appreciate it, and we'll let some of these guys on.
I'll bounce, but I just want to double check.
You're good. You're good. One of them bounced. We got pecans in the back. So okay. Go ahead. What were you going to say, though? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, did you say Saturday is that my Saturday for the post game?
Yes. Yes, your Saturday.
Okay, because I couldn't do it the next Saturday.
Yes.
I can this Saturday.
Okay,
I was just making sure.
Yeah, you're this post game. Seth's going to do the Kentucky game.
Right.
So
all right, sounds good. All right.
Pecans, what's going on, brother? How are you feeling? Do you have a lot of opinions to give out?
Give me a sec. I'm looking for my earbuds so I don't get a lot of echo and stuff. But I feel a lot better after the Texas game than I had starting out for the year. I think we've overexceeded, at least on how I felt we were going to play this year overall. So that's a good start. I think we have a chance against Alabama if we can lay down at least 200 running, 150 passing, and walk away with less than 5 penalties. There's a chance that we walk out with the W. But
I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat and everybody's looking at me to talk.
No, and I was, sorry for stirring up the stuff on the poll here.
No, I love it.
Remember,
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It is a 52% Joe, 48% JG. It is flipping back and forth. We got 170 votes. We got 370 people watching. Go vote right now. Super Saiyan said, I don't understand why you guys like this channel when you don't hit the thumbs up. I don't know why you like this channel when you don't vote in this poll. Go vote right now. It may be one of my favorite things we've done in the last 6 months. I'm here for this type of content.
Yeah, I actually think that if we had JG as a freshman under Heupel without Winky the Pooh trademarked, I'm going to pull a Deion Sanders on this one. Mm-hmm. That he might have been an okay quarterback. I mean, no one can say for sure, right? But I felt ever since Hooker took over that Milton was maybe an average quarterback at this. I don't even think he's average. He's a below average quarterback. But I still think he's our guy for the year, right? Like we can try more. I don't think it's Nico time. I don't want to risk. I don't know if that sounds selfish or not. I just don't feel like we should risk Nico this year for Joe Milton.
Right?
Or for this
right
team, or for
I've
his
been saying for a long time.
And I don't know if that's truly the right mindset on it, but that's just how I personally feel.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while. The last play that he was in, there was a really brutal no-call face mask on Nico. And I'd hate to see his confidence get hurt before he actually gets started.
Coach, you want to answer that?
That's fair. For me, like there's two things that there's a lot of things to like about Nico. I mean, he's got a beautiful ball. He runs really well, right? He's what Boogie call him, generational talent, right? So he's got all those talent things. But I think the things that make Nico special are his brain and then his coolness. He's just that thing that you want in a quarterback, that calm, collected coolness is what I like about him. I think he can do it. But you know what? Like I said last night, and I mean it, it's going to come down to when it's time for him to do it, right? Like Coach Jay can spout all he wants about how if he can do it, if ands and buts, but until we actually see it out there, then that's when we'll know. So, but everyone's opinion is valid, and that's what I love about this channel. So
when Nico gets his opportunity, and let's say he struggles, guess what? I'm going to call a spade. The same as I had with Joe. I was the biggest Joe supporter when he first arrived on campus because everything I was told was at practice he was balling out and he looked great. And I said, this is going to be your starter. Get ready for it. And people did not want to hear that. They wanted Harrison Bailey. They wanted, Hendon Hooker. They wanted everybody but Joe. And I was like, this is what is coming out of practice. This is something I wanted to talk about earlier and got away from it. Where'd the comment go? It was a great comment. Let's see. MP Bro says, what we're not discussing is Heupel afraid to bench Joe because of team dynamics and his leadership role. Possible fear of Joe starting division. This is something we talked about last night on the post-game show. I want all you guys not named Boogie and Coach Jay to chime in because we kind of touched on this last night. Tom, we'll start with you. Why is Heupel not willing to bench Joe? Is it some type of team chemistry issue? If Nico's the guy we think he is.
I think it's two things. It's Joe's potential because he is a hell of an athlete. He could be a great quarterback. But the other thing is, you're not going to want to put your freshman in. That's, for me, that's my opinion. I would. If it was me, I would. At this point, I would put Nico in because does anybody remember Josh Dobbs freshman year went in against Alabama in Tuscaloosa, didn't play bad. And I was thinking, oh, great, here's this great freshman we got. Confidence going to get ruined because he's going in at Alabama against Alabama. And he wound up being one of the better quarterbacks in the last 15, 20 years. I mean, really. Yeah,
that's a great point, and that's why I kind of mentioned earlier talking about Josh Dobbs. I personally feel like Josh Heupel is just sorry, y'all. My wife and kid are running around back there. I think he's just waiting for the right time. If he's not going to do it, he's not going to do it. But if he's going to start Nico, I want to see him start in a game like UConn or UTSA first to kind of get his feet wet. But like Tom said, Dobbs, he didn't look just terrible against Alabama that game. I mean, I still kind of remember that game. And then he went on later that year, crushed South Carolina or beat South Carolina. He beat someone else, and it was a game changer. Had us looking forward to the next season. I mean, it was just had us, going the right. What we felt at that time going the right direction with Jalen Hurd, Josh Malone, Josh Dobbs, all coming back, and it had us going the right way the next year. So I think part of it is just the timing, and I just don't see him either thinking about making the switch with Alabama or Kentucky.
I don't think Josh Heupel is going to play Joe Milton if he doesn't think Joe Milton gives them the best chance to win. I really don't believe that. And and look, I'm a dude that sits here every week going, why are we not playing Nico, right? Why are we not playing Nico? I don't understand. But I don't think Josh Heupel is going to roll a quarterback out there that he doesn't think can succeed. So is he seeing something different in practice? What is it? I don't even know if I should ask Gary this because Gary, do you want to answer it? I know you're rolling with Joe. So what are your thoughts on Nico versus Joe?
I think that maybe there's a side of this that we don't see as fans. I think like
There
you know,
definitely is.
Like, what if they're, what if he's looking at how the team chemistry is, how the team reacts to Joe, the upperclassman, the guy who's been there to help lead for 3 years now, versus Nico, the guy who just came in. Like that could be part of it. I also just think that I think it's foolish to pull your starter when you're 5-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do
that's the biggest point. We're 5-1.
Can I play devil's advocate real quick?
I don't.
And I agree with that sentiment. Yeah. I don't know. I heard you say it once, so I just copied you.
No, you can't.
But if you say you're going to play devil's advocate and roll with your regular opinion, that's not really devil's advocate. Unless you're
All
the
right,
devil.
I'll shut up then.
No, go roll with your point. But maybe you're just the devil. You're not playing devil's advocate.
What was Saban wrong for pulling the kid in the championship game?
You're never wrong. If
I don't think so. No.
You're never wrong.
That's a good analogy right there.
Perfect.
That's a really
Right
good
there.
analogy.
It's a championship coach doing that too. But I was going to ask Coach Jay, my whole thing about this is the two things that Heupel has said that have confused me. He's ready, and when the time comes, he'll be in there. We're not redshirting him because there will come a time where. So when is that going to be? I mean, he's hinted twice or on two different fronts that we're not redshirting him. He didn't hint that. He said that. And then he hinted that when the time is right, he'll be in there. When is that time? Are we going to see him at all this season?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
I mean, it's puzzling to me because
Tough question.
Yeah,
You got to go back to what Gary said though. Tennessee is 5-1.
I hear that.
I got crucified. I got crucified
Hey.
because I said you went out. You're going to Atlanta. Well, technically, Boogie, Florida wins. You think Florida's going to go beat Georgia and everybody? No, Florida's going to lose. Tennessee, if they win out in SEC play, they're going to Atlanta. You got everything to play for, Gary. You hit the nail on the head. We're 5-1.
I need to counter.
God, is he going Nico?
Yeah, go. No, please. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Head to head.
Yes, he pulled the starting quarterback in the championship game, not in the middle of the season when they were still, playing toward it.
So he pulled it when everything was on the line for their season.
When
He
there
pulled
was
it as
nothing else left.
yeah, right.
When there was nothing else left.
I don't know.
When
Everything
all-
was left. The SEC championship was left.
I can one up y'all. Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence. Middle of the season. Change.
Yeah.
They were they were 7-1.
Yeah.
But
They made the change.
We don't know what
That was the $1 million quarterback under the
situation
table
was
then.
like.
Yeah, we're not even talking NIL yet. He was $1 million under the table there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I think we're on to something when I think it's got to do with culture and practice and some kind of variation of that. So what that is, I'll keep saying it, guys. I'll keep yelling it. I'm right. At the end of the day, I'll ride with Heupel. I really will. He's earned that from me right now, and I'll ride with him even though I'm pouting about it, I guess.
Okay, here's the deal. I'm starting a new poll because Mrs. Coach J told me that I had to. So I ended the Joe Milton poll. Joe Milton won 52%. JG 47%. That math doesn't add
52
up.
people are living in reality.
99%.
That math doesn't add up, but that's what it says. So, hey, Joe won. Here's the new poll we're posting right now. Who would you start against Alabama? This is your wife's fault.
Oh, against Bama.
Nico,
Against Bama.
Nico
on the
or
road?
Joe
Come
Milton?
on.
Joe.
Hey, we're gonna see. Right now, it's 100% Nico because I just hit vote. But let me hit some super chats real quick. We'll see how that plays out.
Oh, wow.
Timothy McGee for 5. My complaint is our fans need more class when players get hurt. 2 A&M players got hurt and we booed them. We did it for a reason, right? Like Walter Nolan was legitimately hurt. I'm going to go ahead and vote from my personal account over here too. Put Nico vote in. Look, I did, but that's part of it.
Over here just freaking rigging the vote.
I got all the troll. I got 17 accounts over here that I'm going to switch and vote from. No, but like when you have the fainting goats of Ole Miss, that's what leads to players getting booed. Once Walter Nolan, people who is getting assassinated.
Yeah, I was about to say.
All right, everything's
Is
clear.
somebody
now.
feeding snakes?
Once no, Joey's not here. Once things, we realized it was serious, I think the fan base showed Walter Nolan some respect. Trade for 5. Nico is capable to play better than below average and get real-time experience. The culture and loyalty factor is why we see Joe. I think there's something to be said about that. VFL Logan for 10. Actually, LOLs to you JG voters. How soon we forget, but for real, we need to go 1958 U.S. Air Force offense, throw 12 times a game, run that ball, more touchdowns guaranteed. It's funny because Logan's laughing at us that said JG would be better, and then he wants to run the triple option.
Bro,
That tells you.
Give me that old school Georgia Tech triple option. I love that stuff so much.
You want it because Joe sucks. Gary.
No, I want it because I love it. Man, I love old school smash. I'd rather watch it. Honestly, I'd rather watch a game like yesterday than I would a shootout any day.
I would too, other than the fact
I'm with you there.
I was on the verge of a heart attack.
I love me some defense.
I was on the verge of a heart attack the entire game. That's where I disagree, Gary. Pirate Team for 5, are we the only team in college football that can't start a freshman? Hey, we're rolling freshmen out there at linebacker, on the defensive line, just not at safety and not at quarterback.
Well, one question to ask is to get off a quarterback for a second. Do we have a replacement for 78?
Ollie Lang.
No.
I was complaining about that too. I mean, he does it every game.
Really that better? I mean, honestly.
I think he's a little better. I mean, I think you're kind of splitting hairs, but I think he's that's a bit.
I'm worried about Gerald Mincy. Is how long?
Me too.
Yeah.
Because if he could come back, I wish they had put Dane Davis at left guard. I mean, give it a shot, but I mean, y'all going into this Alabama game, I am super worried about that right tackle position.
Penalties. If we do penalties on Bama like we did against Texas A&M, regardless of how we play offensively or defensively, the game is lost. If we're breaking double-digit penalties, there's no way
I
we
agree.
win that football game.
On the road, yeah.
Yep.
Man, I was going to say
on the road.
You're not going to get an injury update on Mincy because the way Josh Heupel does injury updates, we're still expecting freaking Hendon Hooker to play this weekend.
Yeah, Josh Heupel's telling us about how Gary can sing the national anthem later on tonight, right, with his voice.
Yeah, I miss Gary.
Gary was out there on the grass. He was out there on the grass.
There you go,
dude. I got my cleats in the grass, man.
There you go.
Let's go.
Hey, can I ask a question real quick about Joe Milton? I know we've talked about loyalty to him and the culture and everything. Do you think if Josh Heupel in the middle of the season takes out a 6-year senior quarterback, that it's kind of a sign that he can't develop a quarterback? Do you think that has something to play into it? Because he's had him there and he's talked it up and talked it up. But if he pulls him when we have a good record because he's not playing the best or anything else, it's like, well, are you kind of admitting some sort of defeat at that point that you can't develop as well as you think you can? I mean, all of the intangibles are there. It's
That's
kind
an
of
interesting take.
I saw somebody
kind
talk
of a
about
weird
that.
thing.
I saw somebody talk about that in the Facebook group, and I'm like, if Hendon Hooker isn't the picture perfect scenario that you can develop a quarterback, I don't know what else do you need. Everybody said, "Oh, Hendon Hooker sucked." Virginia Tech fans were laughing at us when he transferred, and look what happened with Hendon Hooker. But I do agree with what you're saying there, though. Like he's got all the intangibles, but he.
It's between the ears and
teach. You can't teach.
Exactly. And last night I watched that ball quest with George McIntyre after the game, and he was pretty much it sounded like he was trying to go around the quarterback plays. Like, well, it's nice to see that they can win in different ways if they need to, but he's thinking as one of the top quarterbacks in the nation in that recruiting class. He's had time with him. He's had 3 years. And he's just not there mentally. I mean, I think that's a scary place for a recruit, especially when we're trying to continue recruiting at such a high level. And you have a quarterback that throws for 100 yards,
And
Hazel, right?
What was that?
I'm not under
I was saying, who is the quarterback's coach? It's Hazel, right?
I think it's
His
still
name is?
Halsley.
Joey Halsley, yeah, he's coaching.
Halsley. I couldn't even remember what his name was. I don't know anything about it. So
he was coaching.
I don't think it's as much on. Yeah, he was. I know that. I don't think it would be as much on Heupel as it would be on him. But I mean, look how Hendon turned out, and look at Milton. They're like complete opposite. So
yeah, well, it's like the tell.
I don't know.
You know, yeah, it's wild because it's like that was the thing. Everybody's like, oh man, he's a quarterback whisperer like Lincoln Riley. And then we get Joe Milton this season, and it's like he's progressively getting worse each game. Like we used to be like, oh, he's a great decision maker. Now he's not even doing that. And I mean, Texas A&M's defensive backs weren't all that against.
Do you guys think there's something too, like along these lines, since he's regressing? Is there something too, as Nico gets more talk, Joe gets more nervous, and he gets more less confident because Nico is biting at his heels? And if Josh says, at some point he needs to be ready, is it like, oh my God, at any point he's gonna sub me out for this kid?
That's honestly like, I'm sitting here, I'm defending Milton and, putting some blame onto the receivers, obviously, but I do think that there is a component of like Nico's in his own head. And because if you look when he like the Orange Bowl, like he didn't have anybody behind him. It was, there was nothing to make him nervous for. But now there's the alleged $8 million man sitting right behind him, just waiting. And I think he's constantly looking over his shoulder.
And if Josh has control of that and has control of this team, he can quell a lot of that and say, look, Joe, you're our guy. We're riding with you. We're ride or die with you this season. Nico's there if something catastrophic happens, i.e. you get hurt, God forbid. But we're riding with you. I mean, give him that boost of confidence because in the Orange Bowl, he looked like he had an electric arm.
You can lead a horse to water.
They've had that conversation.
100%.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Was the quarterback. Yeah, you look at when Coach was the quarterback at OU. He came up in a time where quarterback controversy, that's going to basically ruin your season, right? I mean, there were a bunch of different races. There was either way, let's actually move away from that. But yeah, Coach, somebody said it earlier. I think it was Eric. You're 100% right. Nico's waiting in the wing. He's waiting in the wing. And Coach Heupel's like, hey, Joe, you're our guy. Go out there, be 100%, be all you can be. You're the dude no matter what. And it is what it is. It's not really working.
I've kind of got a weird take on this. How much of it is complacency? He knows that no matter what he does, he's not going to be pushed out of that spot.
I don't think that's it at all.
That's kind of a sorry attitude to have.
I don't think that's it at all.
It's like he's regressed this whole year.
I think
I don't know on the complacency side.
Says, yeah, but he's thinking too much. I mean, in this offense, you have to think. That's kind of the thing about it. But it's like he's overthinking now because he's made a few mistakes, and as each week goes on, he's still not had a 300-yard game. I don't think he hasn't had a 300-yard game yet. His passing completion percentage is just kind of – he's in the lower tier in the SEC. Like, he's not hitting these goals and achievements that he thought he would hit this year, and he's coming up on – it's a contract year. I mean, if you got a chance to go to the end – and I still think he ends up there. I mean, if JG ended up there, didn't Crompton end up as a backup at some point?
Somebody will take a shot. Somebody will take a shot on him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the offense is completely different. I don't know that anyone's really ever talked about it this year, or at least I haven't heard anyone talk about it. If you remember right last year under Hooker and the previous coordinator, the Hooker had a set of plays that they were designed to run, and the receivers wore the wristbands, right? And I don't know how many plays it was. I think I remember an interview with Hyatt saying they had 11 plays. And if you go back and you pay attention to old footage and you watch, Hyatt, the rest of them running around, they all had the bands on. Hooker had the ability to kind of pick on the fly because he knew how to read. I think Hooker was a lot better at this stuff than Joe is. And he could pick on that. You would catch Hyatt or one of them out on the side, opening up their band to see what it was that Hooker called. and they'd go for it and do it. And it's completely different with this. Like like Milton can't tell what's going on. He's constantly looking at the side. In multiple games now, we've had to burn timeouts because he doesn't get the ball out. And I don't know what I don't know.
Let me bury the lead on what my conversation is going to be all week long. You want to know what Joe Milton's doing? 12th in the SEC in passing yards, a little over 1,200. 10th in the SEC in completion percentage, 61%. 14th in the SEC in yards per passing attempt, under 7. 11th in the SEC in quarterback rating. He is tied for third in one category. Does anybody want to guess what he's tied for third at?
Incompletions.
Interceptions.
Yeah.
Joe Milton's not playing good football, boys. It is what it is. We're playing good defense. We're running the football. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're over an hour and a half into this thing. This was maybe one of my favorite.
Nico and call it a day.
Maybe one of my favorite fan call-ins ever. I love the fact that Gary had a different opinion, and he's able to come in and express it, and everybody keeps it civil. Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick, though, too. James for 5. Some of our wide receivers haven't had a single good game. Joe has had at least one good game this year. Wide receivers are definitely almost as guilty. Come on now. It's everybody. But we can put percentages on it, whether it's 60, 40, 70, 30. You can do whatever you want. Timothy McGee for 2. Wishbone option would be good. All right.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna wrap this thing up. This may be my favorite fan calling we've ever had. I love the fact that Gary, I'll just go ahead and say it, has the balls to come on here and express his opinion knowing that he's going to be respected. This is a beautiful thing. This is what this community is all about. You want to be a part of it, hit the join button down below, become a member of the channel. You can jump on these fan call-in shows. Tons of content coming your way this week. Tomorrow morning, Eric Kane's going to be in the house, 9 a.m. We're going to talk some Tennessee, Texas A&M. Also, J.D. Piquel has confirmed he will be back in the house sometime this week. I don't know if it's going to be on the Wednesday night show. I don't know if it's going to be Friday morning with me and Coach Jay, or if we got to do a special show on Thursday. Regardless, we're going to get J.D. Piquel back in here talking some Tennessee versus Alabama. Tons of content. Make sure you guys are dialed in for that. You already are because you guys are the diehards. Let me go look at the poll real quick. Who would you start against Alabama? Let's see here. Joe Milton, 52%. Nico, 48%. There's your final answer. I didn't say it. They said it. I got one last super chat to hit. MG Way for 5. Hate that I'm saying this, but watching Joe Milton play these last couple of big games has made me physically sick. 5-star, 8 milli, Nico time. On that note, we're going to get out the door. For Coach, for Rocky Top Tom, for Brain. Is it Brain or Brian? Is that a typo? Are you the Brain? Your pinky is Brain.
Brain.
I love it. For Coach Rice, Coach is going to be joining us for the post-game show coming up on Saturday. For Gary, shout out to you, brother. I love the fact that you come on here, express your opinion, and stay true to what you believe. So shout out for that.
I work with truck drivers every day. Nothing you guys can say can hurt me.
There you go.
Shout out to Aaron, who looks like Evan. I said Aaron, but it's Evan. Evan looks like he is one of those guys that was like, at one time I was a serial killer, but they brought me in for this interview, and I'm going to give you all the insights on being a serial killer. For Beacons, for Coach McGee, this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. I'm going to try to find the outro. Big. There it is. Orange.